All right, so today I'm in one of my Mack trucks. This is a 2022, if I believe correctly, the year Mack Anthem. But anyway, the radio is this radio here. And the issue is when you turn on the ignition, the radio doesn't come on. You have to push the power button to turn on the radio. So you push the power button, turns on the radio. After about 1 hour, it cuts off. If you turned off the ignition and the radio was on, the radio doesn't cut off. So it only comes on 1 hour at a time, and only comes on if you push that button, and only shuts off if you push the button again or after 1 hour. So your problem is in your fuse panel, which is here. So normally you would have this little guy sitting on top. There's 3 screws, 1, 2, 3 to remove. I use my little Torx bit to remove those screws. I don't know what size that is, but I use that. And when you go inside, if you're lucky, you have a diagram here, which like I have. You look on there and you can see fuse F4 is a 10 amp fuse, and that's for the radio. And the numbers kind of start from the bottom area. And I have another diagram that shows me, and also it's written on the side. See the numbers right there? So this one is F4. I have no fuse in it. The fuse that I did have in it was a blown fuse. So equivalent, the blown fuse is no fuse, which means the truck does not recognize when the accessory or engine is turned on to send power to the radio. So when you are pressing this button to power up the radio, it is going purely off the battery as far as the radio is concerned, which is something that's a cool feature that you don't have to turn on the car in order to turn on your radio. But as a safety, it will cut off after 1 hour to prevent battery drain. So for it to come on automatically, you need to have the accessory switch, which is accessible through this fuse, F4. Let's take a look at it again. F4 is that one. It also, see it listed on there, it says F4, and then the one above that looks like F10 and 12 and then 11 and so on. I guess that 10, that might be 13. Anyway, so that says F4. That's the one that needs a 10 amp fuse in it. The one that I had in it was this one, and as you see, it's blown. So two things, 30 amp fuse and blown. So now if this 30 amp fuse was in there and blew it, or if you put your fuse in there and it keeps blowing, check your CB connectors, which are here. That 12 volts sometimes also relates to the radio fuse. Make sure there's nothing in between there. So if you accidentally grounded this out, it's possible to blow this fuse. So I'm just twisting, making sure there's nothing in there. I'm going to put a 10 amp fuse in there and we see how it goes. All right, found a 10 amp. I'm going to pop that fuse in there. Goes in that socket. Let's turn off the electrical. All right, so in again, I'm going to put that in there. It's a 10 amp, ready to roll. All right, now time for the trueness. I'm going to turn it on, see if it pops or if everything's good. I see the radio flashing. Let's turn on the engine. And there goes the radio. Problem solved. So there you go. Check that F4. Check your connectors for the CB. Make sure nothing's shorted it out, which would have blown that fuse. And hopefully, if you're lucky and you're all good, the fuse won't pop. If it does, something is shorting it out.